Good evening, students.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Listen. So, what was the topic we were discussing yesterday? I think they were doing some problem, right? The motion of a train. Yeah, there is a problem we were doing yesterday. Let me copy the question. Is there any doubt from yesterday's concept that you want to ask? No doubt?
No, sir.
No. So the last problem alone will do it. Before that, let me recollect the problem. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can you just explain what is V with respect to G?
Sure. See, if you talk about an object which is moving, okay. Let's say you're there. Okay. Let's say you're walking with a particular speed in the rightward direction. Let's say you're walking with a speed of 2 meters per second. Okay. Now the question is, you're walking on which surface? So V1 is the velocity of person walking on ground. Right? Am I right? See, suppose you are walking with the same velocity 2 meters per second on a conveyor belt. Like, you know what is a treadmill, right? Let's say you're walking on a treadmill which is going in the backward direction and you're trying to walk in the frontward direction. Now tell me one thing. In the first case, when you're walking with a velocity of 2 meters per second on a ground, can I say your exact velocity is 2 meters per second? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that velocity is what we call it as absolute velocity. Technical name given to it is absolute velocity. Why we call it as absolute velocity is because absolute is the exact velocity of the person measured with respect to ground, because the ground is assumed to be at rest. The ground is said to have zero velocity. So that V1, the absolute velocity that we are trying to talk about, is nothing but your velocity with respect to ground, which is nothing but V1 minus Vg. But what is Vg technically? It is zero. That is why your exact velocity is 2 meters per second. Let's say, as I told you, you're walking on a treadmill where the treadmill is going at a speed of 1 meter per second in the backward direction. So what is your velocity going to be?
2 minus 1.
So you should not write it as 2 minus 1. You should have asked me a question. Okay? That is where you need to be careful. When I ask you velocity when another object is also in motion with respect to you, you should ask me a question. Are you asking about my absolute velocity or the velocity of mine with respect to the conveyor belt? Okay. So if I put a question, velocity of your velocity with respect to ground is still 2 meters per second. Okay. Velocity of the conveyor belt with respect to ground is 1 meter per second. What is your velocity with respect to the conveyor belt? Sorry, it is minus 1. It is 2 minus of minus 1. That is 3 meter per second. You're able to understand this? So Whenever
sir.
you use the word ground, you're trying to speak about the exact velocity. Means a person standing on the ground, if he's trying to measure your velocity, what is your exact velocity? That is the meaning. Now see, velocity. Now there are two parallel rail tracks which run north-south. Train A moves with a speed of 54 km per hour. So 54 km per hour is how many seconds? Meter per second, guys? 15, huh? 15 meter per
Yes, sir.
second.
Yes, sir.
Velocity
Yes.
of B is 90 km per hour. It is 25 meter per second. I think this is what we got. Now, A is moving in the direction of north and B is moving in the direction of south with a speed of 25 meter per second. This is the velocity of A with respect to ground, velocity of B with respect to ground. Okay. So, they told velocity of a monkey running on the roof of a train A against its motion with a velocity of 18 km per hour with respect to A. So velocity of the monkey with respect to A is 18 km per hour. Okay, they're asking what is the velocity of the monkey with respect to a person observing from the ground. Did you guys understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir, could you repeat, sir?
I will repeat it. It's coming. So read the question carefully. Listen. Velocity of a monkey. Can I rub all this part? So listen. Velocity of monkey running on the roof of a train A against its motion. So velocity of monkey with respect to A is given as 18 km per hour. It is how much? It is 5 meter per second. Is it clear till this step?
Yes, sir.
But you should remember that the monkey is running in this direction. Correct? So they are
Yes, sir.
asking what is the velocity of the monkey as observed by a man standing on the ground? This is how much. So how we are going to write this? Listen. Velocity of the monkey with respect to ground is velocity of monkey minus velocity of ground. Now, I will add A and subtract A. So velocity of monkey with respect to A plus velocity of A minus VG. Does this make sense, guys? I added A, I subtracted VA. But this VMA is nothing but velocity of monkey. Is it not plus velocity of A, which is 5 meter per second? Why did I write plus here?
Because it is moving in opposite direction.
Is moving in opposite direction, right? So velocity of monkey plus velocity of A minus velocity of A minus velocity of ground. Velocity of ground is 0. So what is the velocity of monkey with respect to A? It is 5 meter per second minus, what is the velocity of A, guys? It is 15 meter per second. So what is the answer? Minus 10 meter per second. So if I take this direction as positive and this direction as negative, means for a person standing on the ground, it will appear as if the monkey is running with a speed of 10 meters per second in the southward direction. Right? Is it clear,
Sir, I have a
guys?
doubt, sir.
Please tell me.
Sir, can we write the velocity of monkey with respect to A is velocity of monkey with respect to ground minus velocity of A with respect to ground?
Correct, correct.
Sir,
That's
then
right.
we are getting a different answer, sir. Velocity of monkey with respect to ground.
What is the answer in the textbook?
Sir, after doing that method, answer is 20 meter per second.
They got the answer as 20 in the textbook. 1 minute.
No, sir, I'm not talking about the final answer. I'm talking about the velocity of monkey with respect to ground.
Okay, you got it as 20 is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll tell you why you got 20, because you took velocity of monkey with respect to A and you substituted 5 here. Am I right? Is that what you did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is wrong. Why? That is where the mistake is. Because in the question it is clearly mentioned the directions are very important. Okay, that is why I rearranged the equation. So they told that the monkey is running against the motion of train A. Correct, Ada? Then, if the velocity of the
Yes,
monkey
sir.
is in this direction, then velocity of train is in this direction. Then the velocity of monkey with respect to A will be velocity of monkey minus velocity of A. It will be velocity of monkey plus velocity of A.
Oh, okay, sir.
5 meter per second, and this is going to be 15 meter per second. That is why we got minus 10 meter per second. Clear? Now, does it make sense?
Sir,
Then
could you just do this method, sir? Velocity of monkey with respect to A is velocity of monkey with respect to ground.
is equal to velocity of monkey. What is it you
With
want me
respect
to
to
do?
ground minus velocity of A with respect to ground.
Okay. So what is the velocity of
So,
monkey with respect to A that they have given?
yes, sir.
That is 5 meter per second. Okay, is that what you're trying
And
to say?
velocity of yes, sir.
Okay, is equal to velocity of the monkey with respect to ground is what we need to find, minus.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then
Minus
you want
this
to
is
do
15 velocity of
this is 15, right? Again, I'll tell you what is the mistake you have done. You have
Yes,
not
sir.
taken time into consideration. Because velocity of the monkey with respect to A is in this direction. No, then this would have been minus. Subrajit, are you able to understand?
Oh, okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it,
Now
sir.
you see, if this comes this side, the velocity of the monkey with respect to ground is 10. I understand it's a genuine question. Guys, are you able to understand what he is asking? Don't make that mistake, okay? It's better. It's good that he has raised that question. Are you guys able to understand how you are supposed to do this problem?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
but still the minus sign and plus sign is different, okay?
Minus sign and plus sign.
Sir, in your answer, it has come minus 10 meter per second. In here, it's come plus 10 meter
Okay.
per second. So won't
Because I
it
took
become a
it there.
confusion?
I took things there in a different way. Because I took velocity of monkey with respect to A plus. Okay. That's why
Okay,
that's
sir.
what I'm saying. Once you get the answer, you need to be careful with that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now are you clear? It's 10 meters per second.
Sir, this answer, how do we write, sir? 10 meter per second.
This one, huh?
Yes, sir. Like, how do we mention that in which direction it is?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. This the answer 10 meter per second answer.
Okay. So what you're supposed to do is you got the absolute velocity of train, right? You got the absolute velocity of monkey, and you got okay. I'll do one thing. I'll take it with the proper sign convention so that you guys will be convinced. Or else it'll be confusing for each and every problem. I don't want to do that. I'll give you a generalized method. So velocity of monkey with respect to A is equal to velocity of monkey minus velocity of A. You need not write velocity of monkey with respect to ground also. Absolute velocity can be taken. Okay. So what is the velocity of monkey with respect to A?
5 meter per second.
5 meter per second.
So 5 meter per second. But what is the direction in which you are going to take? 1 minute, wait, 1 minute. Then my answer should have been less only. 1 minute, 1 minute. Therefore, the velocity of the monkey, can someone read which direction is taken as positive in the problem? So choose the positive direction of x-axis to be from south to north. So upward is taken as positive. Then the answer should have been plus only. Then I did some mistake. Wait. Let me correct it. So this is the actual beta. Sorry, I did a mistake somewhere. So let's make it simple. Velocity of monkey with respect to A, this direction you are taking it to be negative, no? So minus 5 is equal to the velocity, absolute velocity of monkey minus what is going to be the absolute velocity of A? Upward direction, no? It is 15 meter per second. So minus 15 meter per second. So it will come this side. So velocity of monkey is equal to 10 meter per second. Actually, it is in this direction. It will appear as if the monkey is moving in the leftward direction, that is towards north with a speed of 10 meter per second. Okay, so you have to write it like this. This right, what I did is wrong. Wrong in the sense, I have to check it again where it went wrong. Okay, so this is a simpler way. So velocity of the monkey is going to be 10 meters per second in the direction of, can you complete it? In the direction of?
North, sir.
That's right. In the direction of, that's it. Okay.
Sir, I don't get it, sir. Why is it minus 5?
Because downward, velocity of monkey with respect to A is in downward direction, no?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Downward is negative x-axis is what they have taken. I will call it as negative y-axis. I told you already,
Okay,
when
sir.
you take one direction as positive, other direction by default should be negative.
Sir, I have a general doubt, sir.
Please tell me.
Sir, for example, if velocity is given, we differentiate it.
Velocity is given, you differentiate it. Okay, you will get acceleration.
We'll get acceleration, and displacement, if we differentiate it, we get velocity. So
Velocity.
if we want to get displacement from velocity, we have to integrate it.
Integrated, reverse operation. So the
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. I'm not able to hear you.
So listen, displacement, velocity, and acceleration in this order. I hope. Yeah, now are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So always write
Yes,
it down
sir.
like this. Listen. So always write it down like this: displacement, velocity, and acceleration. From displacement, if you want velocity, you have to go in the forward direction. Means you need to differentiate. Velocity to acceleration, you need to differentiate. If you go in the reverse direction, like how you write the equilibrium reaction in chemistry, the reverse is what is integration, and here also it is integration. Okay. Suppose you want to find an expression for velocity, then you should start with the definition of velocity and then integrate. Suppose you want to find the definition of velocity, the mathematical expression for velocity from displacement, you need to differentiate. If you want to find the velocity from acceleration, then you need to integrate. That is how you need to think.
Sir, so if we have to find displacement from acceleration, we have to integrate twice.
Twice.
Okay.
So the only option left out is from acceleration, you need to first find out velocity, and from velocity, you need to first find out. Then you need to find out displacement. See, that is how the second equation. Since you asked, I'm repeating it because these derivations are important for your exam. Okay. See, acceleration is equal to dv by dt. If you recollect, dv is equal to a dt. When I integrate it, we'll get v is equal to u plus at. Now I will use v is equal to ds by dt is equal to u plus at. I will take dt to the other side. Now I hope you will be able to understand it better. This will give you s is equal to ut plus half at square. So from acceleration, you got displacement by integrating twice.
Okay, sir.
Got it? Yeah. Anything else? Any other doubt? If you're clear with this, we'll move on to graphs. Okay. Shall I move on? Is there anything you want me to explain? Good.
Yes, sir.
I'll do that. So going to the graphs. Okay. Basically, in your 9th grade, you would have learned about different types of motions. So basically, motion is classified into two types. What are they? We call them as uniform or
Non-uniform.
Non-uniform.
right. So if I have to do any classification, so whenever we use the word classification, right, guys? So classification means you're diversifying into different categories. That is, you break it into different sectors based on some differentiating factor. Right. See, for example, if I ask you the physical state of an object. So listen to my question carefully. When I ask you the physical state of an object, I can either say solid, liquid, or gas, or I can use the word rest or motion. Are you able to understand? I can say solid, liquid, or gas. You would have learned in the properties of matter, right? Or else when I talk about the physical state, I can use the word rest or motion. So if you see, the main heading in both the cases is physical state, but the context is completely different. So both are classifications. So when you do a classification, what is most important? You need to decide or fix a basis on which you need to classify things. Right? In a similar way, motion can be basically classified into two types as uniform and non-uniform. When I asked, you guys told me uniform and non-uniform. But my question is, on the basis of what did you classify them as uniform and non-uniform? If somebody comes and tells you uniform motion, what are they?
So they mean either uniform velocity or uniform acceleration.
Uniform velocity or uniform acceleration.
Sir, when it
What
covers
exactly?
equal distance in equal intervals of time,
That is the
and
yes, that's right.
the
That's
other
right.
one is
So it has something to do with the distance and time, because uniform motion doesn't mean the object is having uniform acceleration. So Bridget, please be careful, okay? Uniform motion has something to do with the amount of distance covered in a particular interval of time. So if equal distances are covered in equal interval of time, equal distances in equal intervals of time, then I can call that motion as uniform motion. Now I have another question. When I speak about equal distances in equal intervals of time, how can I use a different language for the same statement in terms of velocity? Can I say it has a
Equal displacement.
uniform speed? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Guys, it has a uniform speed because the amount of, let's say in 1 second it is able to cover 1 meter, the next 1 second also it will cover the same 1 meter. 1 meter per 1 second is the speed, 1 meter per second. So it is going to be constant throughout its journey, correct? So I can say an object in uniform motion also has a uniform speed. Please prepare all this chart, okay? I hope everybody is writing. If I say uniform speed, how can I speak about that in terms of acceleration? Can I say the acceleration of an object which has a uniform speed is 0? Because what
Yes,
is the
sir.
meaning of acceleration? What is the meaning of acceleration? When can you say the body is accelerating? Let's say you're sitting and you're riding a bike. Okay, you turn the accelerator. Initially, when you started the bike, the speedometer is at 0. When you accelerate it, its speed is going to go from 0 to some value. Means the velocity has increased in the next few seconds. So if there is a change in velocity taking place with respect to time, we can call it as acceleration. Correct, Ada? In a similar way. So the same statement, actually the meaning of uniform motion is equal distances in equal time. But subsequently, equal distances in equal time also means that there is a uniform speed. Uniform speed also means that the acceleration is 0. So all the three mean the same. So if somebody comes and tells you tomorrow the acceleration of an object is 0, then one thing that you can conclude is either it has a uniform speed or it is not moving at all. You're able to understand?
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, then if an object is accelerating, then it's not moving in uniform motion.
Yes, it is not. It is not in uniform motion, because when an object is going to accelerate, it is going to cover different distances in different intervals of time. See, have you ever experienced that? See, I'm damn sure everybody would have traveled in a car, right? Have you ever observed, you would have gone on a long trip, right, with your family. So when you go on a highway, have you ever seen when the road is empty, people start accelerating fast? Right? So the kilometers you cover in will be, when you start accelerating, no, the amount of distance you are going to cover in a particular time will become less. Whereas when there is traffic, what will you do? You tend to go slow, right? Let's say in 5 minutes on a highway, if you are able to cover these many kilometers, whereas when you have traffic, you will not be able to cover it. So what will happen? There in the highway you accelerated, whereas in the traffic also you accelerated, but with a lesser value. So what did you do? You covered different distances in different intervals of time. If you take that 5 minutes as a reference. Am I clear? Am I clear with this example?
Yes, sir.
Right? Yes. So that kind of a motion is what is called as non-uniform motion. So basically, non-uniform motion is exactly the counterpart of what we discussed till now. Equal distances are definitely not covered in equal intervals of time. Okay, equal distances, or I can say unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Equal intervals of time. Sorry for my handwriting. So due to this, what will happen? The velocity is not going to be uniform. Means the velocity is not constant. Hence, the acceleration will not be equal to 0. This kind of a motion is called as non-uniform motion, but there is a high confusion that is possible. Non-uniform motion doesn't mean there is no uniform acceleration. I only told that acceleration cannot be 0. Guys, I hope I'm clear with this. There's a very important point. Listen to this carefully again. For motion, I classified it into uniform and non-uniform. Under non-uniform motion, we came to a conclusion that the acceleration is not 0. But under non-uniform motion, there are 2 other motions that are possible. What are they? Uniformly accelerated motion and non-uniformly accelerated motion. Am I clear? Are you able to understand the subclassifications?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Please make a clear note of it, okay? Please make it. So what we have discussed till now, we have discussed all the equations of motion, right? All the equations of motions are applicable under uniformly accelerated motion or uniform motion also. Because in uniform motion, acceleration is 0. 0 is also a constant. As a number, it is a constant. So you can still apply the equation. Yeah, tell me.
So without acceleration, no body can move, right?
No need. That is the body. So you're trying to talk about Newton's first law. An object continues to be in the state of rest or in the state of uniform motion. Listen to this carefully. An object continues to be in the state of rest or in the state of what? He didn't say uniformly accelerated motion. What did Newton say? He told the object continues to be in uniform motion, means it will move with a constant speed until and unless there is an external unbalanced force acting on that object.
Sir, but then even if the object moves in continuous speed, at the start, the speed will be 0.
Need
So
not be,
when-
no, the start need not be 0. Who are we to decide at the start it is 0? At the start means who, like, see, let's say you are standing here. Okay. Let's say there is a running race, there is a track that is set. Okay, or in the position, they say on your mark, get set, go. At the instant the stopwatch was started, before the stopwatch was started, your initial velocity was 0. Because you didn't get displaced with respect to the starting position. You were just lifting yourself up before you're taking a position before running, correct? You're able to understand this? Suppose the person has run few meters, some X meters. If I start the stopwatch here, are you still going to say that the object's initial velocity is 0?
No, sir.
Right. So initial velocity it's not necessary that always the object is going to be having 0 initial velocity. The question of 0 initial velocity always starts with when you started the stopwatch to do that experiment. When did your PT sir start the stopwatch to do the experiment is a question. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, that is the meaning.
Sir?
So don't get confused. Please tell me.
Sir, if the body object covers unequal distance in unequal interval of time, then what will be?
Perfect. It's equal interval because you cannot take unequal intervals and then calculate it. Because the reference is time. I am trying to break the time into equal intervals and I am observing the distance. There are only 2 scenarios that are possible. So the mandatory condition for uniform motion and non-uniform motion is you have to divide the time into equal sections. It can be either 5-second section, it can be 10-second section, or anything like that. So you have to calculate the motion of the object in every 10 seconds. You're able to understand. So you should not use the word unequal instance of time. If that is a motion, then you cannot speak about, you cannot categorize. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sir.
Sir, uniform speed means constant speed.
Sorry, na?
Uniform speed, does it
Yes,
mean like
uniform means constant. That is the meaning. Uniform, see, that's how you do, no? You like everybody wears a school uniform. Everybody is wearing a constant color and all those things, right? Same thing. Uniform itself means a constant. Okay. Just to answer your question, since you people asked so many questions, I just wanted to give you an extra information. Displacement on differentiating will give you velocity. That is, rate of change of displacement is velocity. Rate of change of displacement is velocity. Rate of change of velocity is acceleration. Rate of change of acceleration, anybody? It's called jerk. You would have sensed it in your real life. Have you ever observed when a lift goes and stops in a particular location, you will feel a small upward and downward motion because of the spring action?
Yes, sir.
Guys, so that's called as jerk. Means then the acceleration itself is changing with respect to time. If you guys are able to visualize it, well and good. If not, forget it. Don't worry. With respect to your syllabus,
then it should be inertia, right, sir? While moving, if sudden we apply brakes, sir, then it should be inertia, right?
Inertia, don't worry about it now. I'm not sure of how you have visualized that context. Let me explain it in the next chapter so that you'll have a better clarity. Okay, I'm not sure of what is your past knowledge about it. Let's not discuss about inertia as well. Okay, because inertia
Okay,
has something to do with mass of the object and other parameters, and how the force is acting on those particles. So many things are involved. Let's not get into those details. But here, definitely, yes, there is inertia there because of the spring action. That is there. That's a different story. But just to give you an information, I just put it like this. Okay. So I hope you guys are able to visualize this, right? So there is a reason why I prepared this table. Based on this table only, we are going to see how the graphs are going to look under different scenarios. So with the hope that you guys are clear with this definition, with these definitions, let me get into the graphs. Are you guys having textbook, NCERT in your hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you have NCERT, you can open page number 46. Okay, or else I'm showing it, right? You can go look, have a look at it. That also. Suppose you try to draw a position time graph for motion with positive acceleration. Okay, if there is an object which is moving with a positive acceleration, then I can say S is equal to ut plus half at square. Here, S is the thing that is standing for the position. Okay. Now I'm going to borrow some knowledge from your basic mathematics from 10th standard. Okay. You would have learned this, right? Y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. What does it represent?
Quadratic.
Expected this answer. It is not a quadratic equation, rather it is a second degree
Polynomial.
polynomial. It's a second degree polynomial. Okay, what are the differences? Very minor aspect, but why am I stressing on it?
Sir, in quadratic
Quadratic.
equation, I don't think we equate it with y.
You equate it to what? You
Zero.
equate it to 0.
Zero,
Zero.
sir.
So if a polynomial y is 0, then it becomes a quadratic equation. Okay. So y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is a polynomial. You would have learned in your 9th and 10th standard also. So if somebody asks you a question, ax square plus bx plus c, if you plot it on a graph sheet, right? If you plot it on a graph sheet, what shape is it going to take depends on certain parameters. Can someone recollect and tell me what is it?
So the value of A and the sign of A and the sign of C.
Sign of c is not needed, right? There's only sign of a. If the sign of a is positive, then it represents an upward parabola. Do you guys remember this? At least you'll be able to recollect when I say when a is less than 0, then you'll get a downward parabola. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now see, I just want to stress on one point. I am interested to draw a displacement time graph for an object which is having a constant acceleration. X is equal to ut plus half at square. Can I write x is equal to half at square plus ut? I'll just rearrange and write it, okay, for the sake of mathematical details. Now, I take the displacement on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. That is what a displacement time graph means. Whenever you're taking a graph, x-axis should always be independent, and in physics, time is always independent because you cannot control time. Time can control other things. So x and t. So is it not similar to y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c? Only difference is your constant is 0. Right? Now, what is the coefficient of t square, guys? The coefficient of t square, fortunately or unfortunately, is a only. But this a and this a have different contexts. I hope you're able to understand this. This is a mathematical variable, whereas this a stands for acceleration. Now, having those points in mind, if I draw a graph which shows the variation of displacement with respect to time, and if the value of acceleration is greater than 0, can I call it is going to be an upward parabola?
Yes, sir.
In a similar way, if the acceleration is less than 0, can I say it is going to be a downward parabola? As simple as that. No doubt in that.
Yes, sir.
Right? So those are the two graphs that they have given. So how they can ask in the exam is, they can give you this graph for 1 mark and they can ask you whether the object is accelerating or retarding. You can answer it by now with clarity, right? You know why it is going upward or downward in the shape of a parabola. And the third situation that is possible is, what happens if the acceleration itself is 0? Right? If the acceleration is 0, then x is equal to ut.
Sir, it becomes a linear equation.
Yes, sir.
It becomes a linear equation in one variable, right? So linear equation in two variables. So linear equation in two variables is obviously a straight line. That's it. Clear, guys? Right. So as of now, I'll explain the basics. I want to do some problem for you guys. Okay, which I might be doing it in the next class because time is not there to do many problems. So this is all about the position time graph, correct, Ada? Similarly, what is the other important variable with respect to the motion of an object?
Velocity.
It is the velocity. And if you try to analyze how the velocity is changing with respect to time, then what are all the equations that are possible? Let's try to draw a graph and see. So whenever you need a graph, right, if somebody asks you, just because it is physics, don't get scared. First thing is you should always write the mathematical equation and have a clarity on which parameter is on y-axis and which parameter is on x-axis, and then proceed so that you will understand things better. Suppose I'm interested in velocity time graph for an object which has constant acceleration. Okay. I know that v is equal to u plus at is applicable for an object with a constant acceleration, no doubt in that. So what should I take on y-axis and what should I take on x-axis? Velocity time. So v is equal to u plus at. Y is equal to c plus ax, something like this. This is also a linear equation in two variables. So it represents a straight line, right? So it represents a straight line where how will you find the coordinates on the y-axis? So to find the coordinates on y-axis, put the value of x as 0. That is, at t is equal to 0. Listen to this carefully, guys. At t is equal to 0, what is the value of v? It is u. Means the initial velocity is 0, u. After that, since the object is accelerating, its velocity will increase with respect to time linearly. So this is the graph for v is equal to u plus at. Right. This is the one which we used for deriving s is equal to ut plus half at square, if you guys recollect it. Right. In a similar way, if I have a velocity time graph with constant deceleration or retardation, for that matter, right? So v is equal to u plus at. Initial point will still be 0, u. But what will happen as the time increases? What do you mean by retardation? Retardation means decrease in velocity with respect to increase in time. So this is how the graph will look like. Okay. So here the word constant is there. Am I clear, guys? Any doubt? Hello.
No, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Similarly, what can happen with respect to velocity is the velocity can go in the negative x direction also, because velocity is a vector quantity. That's the only difference. Okay. You can go through these two graphs. Next is, how will you draw the graph for an object which has a constant velocity? VT graph for constant velocity or uniform motion. Both mean the same. Uniform motion means constant velocity, right? So how is it going to be? I want you guys to guess it. Is it tough? Why is no one
Sir,
answering?
a
Is it
straight
tough?
line parallel to
Yes,
Parallel
sir.
to
x-axis.
X-axis.
Very good. It's a straight line which is parallel to x-axis. Okay. Only thing is, don't draw the graph on the negative x-axis because time is generally not taken to be negative. Okay. Then first, we say time cannot be negative, but there might be certain scenarios where in JEE or NEET you'll find certain problems where the graph starts from left-hand side also. The meaning of time being negative there is it's past. That's it. That is the meaning.
Sir, why can't we draw in that fourth quadrant where time is positive?
You can draw it in the fourth quadrant. I'm not saying you cannot draw it in the second and the third quadrant. That is what I'm trying to say. So you can draw it in the fourth quadrant, provided the value of velocity in this case is negative. Negative in the sense, see, for example, there is an object which is moving with a speed of 20 meters per second in the rightward direction. There is an object which is moving with a speed of 15 meters per second in the negative x direction. Okay. Suppose I'm asking you to plot the velocity time graph for these two objects. Then the velocity of A is going to be how much? 0, 20. Whereas the velocity of B will be, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. This is the thing. And generally, we don't draw much of acceleration time graphs. We don't draw much of acceleration time graphs in the case of your syllabus. Because those equations are slightly complicated. All those equations you learn only in the 11th or 12th chapter in your math. It is then you learn because equation of circle, equation of ellipse, all those things come only the 11th or 12th chapter. All these things are explained because these basics you have already learned, like parabolic graphs and the straight lines you have already learned in your 10th standard. Okay. So don't worry, they'll not ask you so tough words. Actually, the chapter is over. There is nothing that I've left. Okay, now you have to go through the content.
Sir, can you show the kinematics, that one, equation?
Which equation? Like which equation? Like what do you want me to show exactly?
Kinematics graph, sir.
These are all the kinematics graphs. Kinematics is nothing but basics of see did I tell you the meaning of kinematics? Do you guys know the meaning of it? Like
Yes, sir.
kinematics.
Yes, sir.
So what is it? Kinematics is a branch of physics which deals with the motion of an object, but will not be concerned
Without
about
knowing the
form.
cause.
We'll not be knowing what is the cause. We'll not know who pushed the object to make it move or anything. We only know that there is an object moving. We'll accept it as it is. Okay. So these are all the graphs. These are all the kinematic graphs. Nothing else.
Okay, sir.
So whatever I explained is kinematic graph. Okay. Let me see if there is anything that I see. That's it, guys. That's it. Only thing is now you have to practice and come. All. I know most of you have exam. What is the first exam?
Chemistry, sir.
Chemistry.
Chemistry. Oh, okay. So yeah, someday we'll have physics, right? I think you don't have break also. Take that 1.5 hours as an assignment. Okay, assignment in the sense, don't copy. Take that 1.5 hours and ensure you're ready for the exam. And other schools, I don't think you have exam, right? You can write it. So those who want to take the test can take it. There is no compulsion, but it is better you keep me informed that you're not taking due to this reason. That is the only thing I need. Okay. So I expect most of you to take it, right? By now you should be prepared for your test. Try it out. In the meanwhile, you have any conceptual doubts, yes, you can approach me as I messaged in the group yesterday. Only thing is, please do not call me without a prior notice because I might be in other classes or I might be in some recording sessions or something, due to which I might not be able to pick the call. So it's better if I don't respond, I will definitely respond within few hours. Okay, sometimes I will read the message, but I'll not be in a position to respond because of class or something else. So I hope you guys understand that. I'm not trying to ignore anything, but it's just because of the busy schedule, I'll not be able to respond. But please wait for it, okay? Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's it from my side for today. I'll see you all in the next class.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me, ma'am.
so when can I take my test?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. So you have to tell.
So I'm fine with anything, sir. Only like tomorrow evening and Saturday and Sunday I won't be there.
Okay, that's fine. You let me know when you're going to. Okay. That's it, guys. I'll see you all in the next class. Okay. If you have no doubt, you can log off.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.